10,000 kilometers from Kabul, in a park in the suburbs of Ottawa, Farouk Samim and daughter Rayhan are home. Samim still thinks often of where he grew up, Afghanistan, and as well, those now left behind.
You see the stories and the number of people harmed and detained and killed just because they worked with the previous government, or they worked with NATO, or they worked with Canadians and other NATO allies. This is, heartbreaking.
I will give you a hug.
Agreed, says friend Dan Demers.
These were people who probably, their lives were at risk. They were certainly under threat of being imprisoned, possibly tortured, possibly killed.
The two met through their daughters, classmates at school. Now, Demers and Samim have teamed up to help Afghans desperate to escape the Taliban. Some years ago, Samim himself wanted out. In the early 2000s in Afghanistan, his job was to help Western reporters cover the war. His good work was so renowned, it was adapted as a minor character in the film Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, a comedy drama starring Tina Fey. Samim's character is her translator.
Let's go! We shut up the pussy.
She says, welcome to Afghanistan.
In real life, Samim did that and more, working as well with Western fighters, including, after moving to Canada in 2009, helping Canadian soldiers have a better understanding of Afghan culture.
I provided cultural and media training to help the international allied soldiers to be effective in their military operations as well as their peacekeeping intentions and operations.
All of it precisely the kind of thing the Taliban, who now control Afghanistan, despise.
They just look at me or people like me as traitors and working for the Westerners, for Americans or Canadians against them.
Last year, Canada promised to help, pledging safe refuge here for 40,000 Afghans, not least those who helped Canadian troops in the war. 10 months later, a little more than 13,000 are in Canada. We made contact with one of the many thousands more who are still waiting for Canada's promise to be fulfilled. Did you put your life in danger by working for the Canadian forces?
Yeah.
That's the voice of Bahadur Akhda, who, during the war, stood guard for Canadian troops in Kandahar City at a compound Canada used for training Afghan soldiers. Because he protected Canadians back then, Akha is now targeted by the Taliban. We reached him in hiding. What has happened with your family since the Taliban took control of Afghanistan?
The Taliban killed my wife. He was killed on the road. Yeah.
Do you think the Taliban would kill you if they found you?
Yeah. Because I work with the Canadian armies, he said, you are a Canadian too. I'm not safe because the Taliban is searching home by home.
Akha has been waiting months for paperwork from Canada that would get him to safety.
While I appreciate the commitment of Honorable Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to bring 40,000 Afghans, it's too slow.
Samim is not alone in that concern. Remember Whiskey Tango Foxtrot? Well, the real-life journalist, as played by Tina Fey, is Kim Barker. In 2003, she was a reporter for the Chicago Tribune and worked closely with Samim. Now, worried for Afghans desperate for help amid ever-shifting priorities for those who said they'd give it.
We make a lot of promises, and in the heat of the moment, we say we're going to do certain things. And when I say we, I mean Western governments. And then You know, the news media goes away and everybody goes away, and the next crisis comes along, and now it's Ukraine.
She underlines Ukrainian refugees need help, but so too do Afghans. And so it was that when Kabul fell last summer, Barker heard from her old friend Samim in Ottawa. And absent government help, Barker, Samim, Demers, and others in Ottawa and the U.S. acted. Together helping to raise more than $1 million to airlift out some 800 Afghans, including Samim's extended family, also at risk, now with him in Ottawa.
The government was either busy doing other things or just not able to respond in the sort of timely fashion that we needed. These are people in crisis.
In an email, Canada's Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Department told CBC News, "This is a multi-year commitment, and every step of the way there are obstacles facing us in Afghanistan. There's no lack of effort on the part of the Government of Canada." Barker applauds all that's now offered to those in need from Ukraine, but, she says,
You wonder about these old obligations. I don't know what's going to happen.
What is your message to the Prime Minister of Canada?
I'm waiting for you. It is very big problem. All the night I'm not sleeping, just sleeping 1 hour, 2 hours, because I'm looking when the Taliban is coming.
In the time after we spoke with Agha, he managed to make his way to Pakistan, but without any help from Canada. Terrified the Taliban would still find him as he waited for that paperwork.
I want to come to Canada with my family. Just we need this thing. My heart is broke, sir.
In the end, Agha's paperwork finally did make it. The delays from Canada meant it took him nearly 9 months, but he landed in Saskatoon a few days ago. Over in the Ottawa suburbs, Samim recently heard the different fate of another man, one of countless he'd been trying to help get out of Afghanistan. The brother of a female judge in that country a few days ago, killed by the Taliban's relentless brutality. Samim himself is, of course, safe in Canada, but he's also learned that not long ago the Taliban raided his own family's home in Kabul twice. Still on the hunt. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.